This program do not necessarily represent those of Revive FM or its management.
Hello and welcome to tonight's episode of Late Night Debate Night. You're listening to Revive FM 94.0 with your host, Aroosa Ali. It's Wednesday evening, midweek, and we've just completed a whole week of fasting, so we're well on our way into Ramadan. We've got a fiery debate coming your way tonight. It's a bit of a controversial one tonight, Immodest Modesty. So if you've got something to say about that, make sure you call in and give your view. We'll be shouting out the number for you to call us in as well. But before we start, let me just introduce our co-host for tonight, Iqra. How are you doing, Iqra?
Assalamualaikum. I'm doing well. How are you? Just finished my Tarawih, so my legs are a bit knackered, but I'm ready for this debate.
I'm so sorry, we didn't hear you completely. That's my fault. How are you doing, Iqra?
I'm doing good, alhamdulillah. I've just finished my Tarawih, so my legs are a bit knackered, but alhamdulillah, I'm ready for this debate.
I'm sure it's something that hits close to home for you as well.
Yes,
just like it does
definitely.
for me. Joining us tonight, we have a very special guest by the name of Taz, or otherwise known as Makeup by Taz on Instagram. She's a mom and a working woman and an influencer. So hi, welcome Taz. How are you doing?
Welcome. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, alhamdulillah. I hope you're not too sleepy or anything.
No, do you know what? I'm okay. I'm used to late nights.
I'm sure also you're probably used to it because, let's face it, timing goes upside down in Ramadan, doesn't it?
Yeah, that too. It's harder this year because of work, but yeah.
So, so talking about Immodest Modesty, I think it's something that hits close to home. I don't know if you guys saw Habiba de Silva posted a TikTok recently talking about how it's not non-hijabis that are facing a lot of hate anymore. It's actually hijabis. What's your view as an influencer on social media? Because you have, I'm sure you have a responsibility. Do you feel like you have a responsibility to be a certain way for the younger generation?
I do, but I think, in a way, I think we've almost been like dehumanized. Like people forget that just because we're wearing hijab doesn't mean that we're perfect and doesn't mean we represent the religion perfectly. We struggle with it just as much as somebody who doesn't wear hijab does. I don't know why there's this whole thing of people who don't wear hijab suddenly don't represent their religion, because I personally know loads of girls that don't wear hijab, but honestly, like I feel like their iman is so much stronger than mine. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they don't have to wear hijab to make them seem religious. So why is it because I'm wearing my hijab, I now need to be a certain? Well, obviously I get it. Like I can't. Obviously, I will not be seen in a club because I've got hijab on, or my hijab will keep me grounded and stop me from going to like a pub or like certain places where I know I'll get stares. So in that sense, a hijab does really keep you grounded, I feel like, because it's almost an identity thing. But I don't think we should be kind of held accountable for every single person just because we wear hijab, because it's really hard. It's so hard in this day and age.
It is definitely hard. We all have our own struggle, or I mean, that is the name of jihad, when you're struggling for the sake of your deen. But how do you feel about people commenting on hijabis? Like, I'm sure you've seen, again, referring back to Habiba de Silva's TikTok, and it's not just, I don't want you guys to think I'm just singling out Habiba de Silva. It's a lot of people that are mentioning, because we wear hijab and then we wear things like, and I hold my hands up first, I'm guilty of some of these things myself, but like we wear skinny jeans, we're wearing ankle grazers where our ankles are showing, or we either roll our jeans up. Sometimes we wear tight clothing. Even about wearing, how do you feel about wearing a nude top underneath other clothing? So like if you're wearing a sleeveless dress and you wear a nude top underneath, I think it's very different to, I just saw a picture, I won't name who it was, but it was an influencer wearing a very short crop top, but she wore a nude top underneath, and at first glance it does look as if she's showing her bare skin, but then she's wearing hijab. But on closer inspection, you realize she's covered, she's wearing a nude hijab. Would you call that modesty though?
I would.
How do you feel about the fact that, like, do you think that's okay?
I feel like what she's done is okay. I'm not justifying that. I'm not saying it's the right way to do things, but I do believe what she's done is she's basically stopped herself from wearing that particular outfit in the way that it's meant to be worn. So she could have easily taken the hijab off, worn what she wanted, and called it a day. And no one probably would have said anything to her. Let's be real.
Mhm.
But it's the fact that she's got her hijab on. So what she's done is she's made something more wearable, something like modest clothes isn't exactly the easiest to find. It's so pricey. Like it is genuinely quite harder to find, and I feel like revealing clothes is a lot cheaper as well. And there's certain things that you might want to wear that might look nice, you might want to wear it. And I personally, I think somebody making it more modest by wearing something underneath it or something over it or whatever, I don't see anything wrong with that. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, do you think it's also because that is what is available on the market? I know a lot of mainstream big brands like ASOS, New Look, Shein, to name a few, are catering to modest fashion now. Not necessarily to Muslims, I would say, but they do have, you know, you can actually find in the style section modest looks. So they'll list clothing under that headline so that you can actually shop for yourself. But then there's also this thing I feel like we've been fighting for inclusivity from these mainstream big brands for such a long time. And now that they are including us and they've got a modest selection on their websites, we aren't completely happy about it. What do you think? Even Iqra.
Can I just come back to the point that's been made before about obviously her wearing the new top underneath? Not attacking anyone, but do you not think, okay, for example, if we've got tops, now I've seen there's new ones which are in trend on fashion. So you're wearing a baggy t-shirt or even a tight top underneath, but you know you've got those tops that people wear underneath, and they give out the shape of certain parts of your body. Do you not think that's wrong?
No, I do. Yeah. No, I do. At the same time, I think, like, I'm somebody who falls into that trap a lot, and I think I don't know if it's okay to say this, but I think there's certain, for example, somebody a lot skinnier than me would wear that same top and be fine, and it'll look modest on them and it'll be absolutely fine. Somebody who's slightly larger, you know, curvy or whatever you want to call them, then they're the ones that kind of get trampled on, and we get lost in that because we can't wear the same clothes that somebody a lot skinnier than me would have been able to wear. So where it's a lot tighter on them, I just think it's really hard. And where you're saying that there's a lot of more modest options and stuff like that, some of that I think is misguided. Now they have like a whole modesty collection, but it's still very limited. It's still very limited and very expensive compared to like other normal clothes. I think it's, for me personally, I find it easier to buy normal clothes and just make it modest by wearing things underneath or wearing things on top or etc. Like how you were saying the crop top situation. I personally probably wouldn't do the crop top situation personally. I understand where she's come from. I think it's very important to, instead of going completely backwards, to wear certain clothing, to kind of change it slightly, to make it slightly modest, even if it's not the complete correct way. Baby steps, right? And I think everyone's on their own journey, and I think it's really important to kind of just take what you want from each bit. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that personally. I know a lot of people would disagree with me. I just be like, well, why is it so hard? Like, why is it so hard not to just wear it? But obviously a lot of people do struggle with their hijabs and struggle with.
So would you say modesty more is about perspective, about different individuals' perspective? Because I'm sure, because then it will be differentiating between person to person. Or do you think in the name of religion, in the name of Islam, there is guideline for modesty that we should be following, but I think it's just that a lot of us struggle. What's your opinion on that? Like,
I think obviously there are guidelines in Islam of what we're meant to how we're meant to dress, but I don't think modesty means abaya. I don't think modesty means jilbab. I think you can be modest by wearing other things. So I think where there is a guideline Islamically, when it comes in this day and age, I just feel like modesty is all down to a person's perspective. because there's girls who don't wear hijab but literally wear the baggiest clothes ever.
Yeah.
She's
What
talking,
is that? Do you know what? I'm so sorry. I have Ramadan brain, so I'm gonna go. But what is that really popular singer with the green hair? You know who I'm talking about, right?
who?
Okay, when I remember, I'll let you guys know. But if you're a hijabi listening to us right now, and you wear things like ankle grazers or skinny jeans, what is your opinion? Give us a call. So our number is 0333 444 0940. 0940. That's 0333 444 0940. Or if you don't want to speak to us, if you don't want to speak verbally, you can leave us a comment on YouTube or Facebook Live. I want your guys' opinion. Call in, let us know what do you guys think. And not just that, like Taz mentioned, I feel like a lot of curvier or women on the bigger side struggle to find modest clothing. I mean, if you look at, so much focus is on mainstream brands having hijabi models on their page and representing us. If you look at a lot of abaya companies, their models are skinny. Am I wrong for saying that? The models are so skinny. They, even if they have abayas on the bigger side, catering to larger women, they don't have them on their pages, the models on their pages, so that someone who is on the bigger side can have a look at it. Because let's face it, something that looks modest on a skinny girl, like you said, or a slimmer girl, is not really going to look the same on a curvier girl, right?
Yeah.
What do you do, Iqra?
Well, I'm just thinking of if we were to define what modest fashion actually is, because it's out there, it's catered for obviously Muslim women, Muslim girls, but what is it actually? What is modest fashion? Now, if I'm referring to Google for this, so it refers to a trend in women wearing less skin revealing clothes. So that's saying less skin revealing. So if I was to wear a nude top which matches the same skin color, am I
Would you
actually
say
doing
that's so you would say that isn't modest at all?
Yeah, because it's not fulfilling that, is it? Because yes, my skin is covered, but it's still giving out the same tone of my skin color. So is that really me being modest? Also, so it's a trend. It refers to a person's spiritual and stylistic requirements, and also because of their reasons of their faith or their religion or personal preference. Now, this is a question for you actually. As a obviously a lot of girls that follow you, they may see you as a role model. Do you feel like as a social influencer, you bring the trend to the young girls and the youth of what they would wear?
Do you feel like as a social media influencer, do you sometimes feel that burden of having that responsibility on your shoulders, where you are maybe influencing other people, so you have to be careful of what you do? Or is it more like, I think it was Cardi B who said, or Nicki Minaj, who said, listen, I am who I am. You take me as you see me. The rest is your responsibility. What you do and what you don't do, it's on your shoulders.
I do. I feel the pressure. So where like I'm trying to bring a lot more modest clothing onto my page. Because when I first started wearing hijab, I was literally 8 years old, I think, and I'm not gonna lie, for a good couple of years, I didn't dress modestly at all. I covered my hair fully. Not gonna lie, I used to wear my hijab better than I'm wearing it now, and I used to cover my hair fully, but I wasn't really dressing modestly. And then where I started dressing more modestly, my hijab started going more back. So I think it's all about finding that balance. But for me, it's true. Like Cardi B, since we'll use Cardi B as an example, where she said, if you don't want your children to look up to a certain person, then you need to monitor who they're following. You need to monitor what they're doing on social media and who they're following. Because at the end of the day, they're not my kids. I'm not responsible for them. Like for me, if I didn't want, if I didn't want somebody close to me or whatever to follow a certain person, I would monitor. I would definitely monitor that and make sure they're not following that certain person. I don't think it's my responsibility. I think it is my responsibility in the sense that I'm an influencer and I really should be careful what I'm posting, and I get people that look up to me will automatically fall into that of kind of making me as a role model. But at the end of the day, I sign up to social media to do makeup tutorials, not to promote, to tell people how to dress or whatever. Where companies are kind of sending me clothes and I'm promoting the clothes that I like, but I'm not then saying you have to do this and you have to dress in this is the right way and this is the way I'm doing it and this is Islamic, and you know, I would never sit there and say it's right. I would never sit there and say, no, this is, you should definitely follow me because I'm like really religious and stuff. I would never. But I do think it's parents' responsibilities to make sure that your kids are not following people that you don't want them to.
And do you think that's only that only applies to clothing, or do you think that applies to things like filters as well? Because, you know, I think it was Huda Beauty who, there was a recent Sky News article where she was asking for more transparency from social media influencers in terms of putting on filters, because nowadays I feel like I don't know hardly anyone who won't put a filter on their face when they're on social media, but I feel like
you're not really showing your true self.
Yeah, I mean, you're portraying an idealized, you know, example of beauty that really doesn't exist in the world. Do you think Huda Beauty is right for saying that, the calling for more transparency, like maybe we shouldn't be putting filters on our faces when we're on social media?
Yeah, I don't think it even comes from a place of insecurity, because like for me, for example, I might do my makeup and I think it looks fine, but it doesn't translate on camera because of lighting or colors or whatever, if it's just vibrant with a filter on. So I don't think it's necessarily because people feel insecure and they want to deceive people. I think filters just kind of enhance your photo.
Yeah.
Where it will look a lot better in real life, sometimes the camera washes it out and stuff like that. But I do think that if you're like promoting skincare or something and you're using a filter, then you need to be transparent about that 100%.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. You know how a lot of...
Sorry, can I just butt in before you say that?
Definitely.
I absolutely agree with what both of you are saying. But I feel like we, as a social influencer, not even just a social influencer, me as a full-time hijabi, or even you, any sister that is wearing the hijab or even is a Muslim, you have to always remember you are a representative. Wearing the hijab or being an influencer, that comes with responsibilities. Of course, at the end of the day, everyone makes their own decisions. Everyone has their own mind. Everyone's on their own spiritual journey, modest journey. But at the end of the day, you do have a responsibility of representing that. And you do need to be careful of what you are showing to the youth and the younger people.
But do you think that responsibility only applies to social media influencers, or do you think that applies to every single hijabi girl? Because, you know, when you go on school trips and you've got your logo, you're wearing the school uniform, and in primary school, our teachers would tell us you're representing the school, so you need to behave extra good outside, so people don't think we're a bad school. Do you think every hijabi girl has that responsibility? Because once you put on the hijab, you are representing a Muslim person.
Yeah.
So you know how if you're a hijabi and you go out and you're very like you're very mean, or you're very verbally quite tough, people might take it as all Muslims are like that. Do you think every hijabi girl should shoulder that responsibility and have that burden? Because what do you think? Do you think it's just limited to social media influencers, or all hijabis, and not just all hijabis, all Muslims as well?
I think it's down to everyone, whether you're a hijabi, whether you're a non-hijabi, you're a Muslim, you're a social influencer. But what I'm trying to say is social influencers, and so anyone on social media, they're the people who set the trend. Any people in the youth, we follow the trend from what we see on social media.
I think we're having a call. Let me just quickly butt in there. Let's see who we have online. Hello, caller.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing? What's your name and where you're calling from?
Hi, my name is Ramla. I'm calling from London.
Nice to meet you, Ramla. What do you think? Did you want to share your view with us?
Yeah. I was just listening in, and I kind of wanted to discuss a couple of ideas that I had in terms of modesty. I think in terms of influencers, I kind of just had this idea, I'm on social media quite a lot. I use like Instagram and stuff like that, and I do see influencers and just having that platform to showcase modesty and kind of give an idea to other people about how to dress modestly in Islam kind of thing. But I do definitely feel like sometimes influencers can be put on a pedestal kind of thing, where they're expected to be a certain way kind of thing. And the thing is as well is that I definitely feel like, especially as I'm a hijabi myself.
Okay, I was going to ask.
I'm a hijabi myself, and I feel like I do represent a community of people. But when it comes to influencers and role model, I think is a very I don't feel like there's a
very quick question. Oh, sorry, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A very quick
go
question.
ahead.
If you said you're a hijabi yourself as well. If you do you wear skinny jeans and ankle grazers and things like that? And if you do you think that's modest enough? I mean, I'm not here to bash anyone. We're all on our own, we're all on our journey. We're all struggling, and we can only pray to be better one day. But just in general, do you think wearing things like tight clothing, skinny jeans, maybe new tops, ankle grazers, or showing your hair from your hijab, do you think that's modest enough?
So personally, I wear an abaya. I've been wearing abayas and skirts for quite a while now. I'm not saying that I haven't struggled. I have struggled with it in terms of just kind of trying to dress a lot of modesty. And I wanted to also bring the point of that you guys made about the prices of items that are more modest, in terms of, now I live in London, buying abayas are sometimes I see abayas that are £70 plus, and
so other clothing, maybe non-modest clothing, is a bit more affordable and accessible, would you say? Okay.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are making an effort to to find clothes that are a little bit more affordable, but try to make it as modest as they can.
Okay, yeah.
But I do feel like in terms of trying to dress modestly, I feel like it does come with a little bit of a price tag. So I do think that even the community that we live in, there's a little bit of if we were living in a Muslim country where everyone else is wearing abaya, I definitely feel like it would be a lot easier.
Yeah, that's a very good point you brought up. Did you have a question for our guest tonight, Taz?
Let me think. I just wanted to ask, actually, if she feels the pressure kind of in terms of, I remember when the big influencer Dina Tokyo took off her hijab, and there was a lot of controversy and stuff, and I wanted to actually ask her about her opinion in terms of not only Muslim women, but even Muslim men, or even just the whole outside the community. Does she feel like there's a pressure for her to represent? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. We'll get Taz to answer your call.
And also in terms of the other sister that was wearing the black hijab, I think she was talking about Billie Eilish, where
Billie
she wears
Eilish.
the very baggy clothes.
Thank you.
But thank you for this conversation. I definitely think it's important to kind of have conversations discussing this, especially in Ramadan. I do think that it's very beneficial for the people that are listening. So thank you.
Thank you. Carry on listening, and everyone else, if you want to call in and give your view as well, just to remind you guys, our number is 0333 444 0940, and don't forget, you can always message us on Facebook Live, but on YouTube Live as well. So go and write us a message and give your view. Taz, what do you think? Do you feel that pressure?
Great question that she's actually asked, coming on within that question. Also, for example, you must get comments, or you must get other people messaging you, asking or saying stuff. How do you deal with that?
Honestly, Like the pressure is, because I think, so we've gone through a phase now where all the big influencers that we all first started looking up to, the first ever hijabi like YouTubers, Amina and Dina Tokyo and all these are like, they were the first ever hijabi YouTubers, influencers, Instagrammers we ever sort of found. And now obviously they've kind of, on their journey, they've kind of not wearing hijab anymore.
Yeah.
Personally, now I feel like everyone's really quick to say, oh, it's because they've made the money, or they're just sellouts, and you know, they're trying to make money and get collabs with brands, etc. Where that might play a part, because it is really difficult out here as a hijabi to get any sort of work, brand sponsorships, etc. It is really, really difficult. But I think the way they're dressing or whatever, or say for example me, I've been on Instagram for 6 years. It's coming up to 7 years, and in that 7 years, the amount of times people have told me to take my hijab off because they don't think that I'm wearing it right. The amount of times
you have it harder than a normal like
it's like, if I was to take my hijab off and listen to what you have now told me and told me to take it off, and I listened because I'm thinking, okay, I'm not wearing it right, let me just take it off. Would you then not bash me? Would you then not take the hijab off? So how do we win here? Like, if we're not wearing it correctly in your eyes, or in whoever's eyes, we're not wearing it correctly, you want us to take it off. The minute we take it off, we're a sellout, you know, we've taken our hijab off, we're convertible, whatever you want to call us. So then what is it that you actually expect from us? Just to wake up one day and wear it correctly? It's not that easy.
It's not
and
that easy.
a lot of people and they find it easy, and that's fine, and I think that's amazing. But there's certain women out there who do struggle with their hijab daily, and the minute they take it off, then they're slandered even more. So I think the pressure is so real. Like, there is so much pressure to look a certain way. There's certain times where I'll take a picture and I think I'm fine, and then I'll look at the picture and it's like, oh, flashes accentuate this part of my body or this part of my body, and then I can no longer post it. Or I'm sat there and I'm trying to Photoshop and I'm trying to make certain parts of my body not look so big or not look so tight, so just to kind of just flatten everything. But then we would be told, oh, you photoshopped your photo, and it's obvious that you photoshopped it. So then where do we actually win? I just feel like you can't actually win. Like, I've always said that the Muslim community is the most judgmental community ever. And I say that, and I know loads of people were triggered by me saying that. But at the end of the day, it's our own people that judge us, and it's our own people that tell us that we should take our hijabs off, we're not wearing it correctly. And the thing is, that makes it even more harder. I can probably name like six, seven different influencers just this year alone who have taken their hijabs off because of social media, because of the pressure. But then when are the people who are telling us to take it off, when are they going to take responsibility? When do you then take responsibility as a Muslim? Because before anything, we're taught to be kind to one another, we're taught to behave as one ummah. So why are you now singling people out? And why are you not being slandered for it? I don't really get it. Personally, for me, I think it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure to just keep the hijab on. I think it's a lot of pressure. Me personally, I've never actually thought of taking it off. I get told to take it off all the time. I would never take it off, whether you think I'm wearing it correctly or not.
Inshallah.
I see it here, like, there's however many people watching it, you lot are my witnesses. I would never take my hijab off. But I do get told daily that I should take my hijab off, that I'm not wearing it correctly. But then if I was to then take it off, wouldn't you then answer to Allah? Like,
I think that comes on to the question of the expectations of wearing a hijab in Islam, and then the expectations. Nowadays you have more expectations of wearing a hijab from society and people rather than what is expected of you wearing a hijab in Islam. We have to remember our modesty and wearing a hijab is not just from clothing, what we're wearing. It's from our intention, it's from our heart, it's from the way we talk. This all plays a part. Before
you carry on, we're just going to take a really quick break. Make sure you're tuned in. Go grab a cuppa if you want. Go grab some water if you want after if you had a heavy iftar. But we'll be back in just a couple minutes. And don't forget our numbers 0333 444 0940 if you want to call in. That's 0333 444 0940, and you can always comment on Facebook and YouTube. So we'll be back very soon.
If you're looking for a unique bespoke cake made especially for your big day, then look no further. Here at Sugar Sprinkle Cakery, we design some of the most imaginative and delicious home-baked cakes for your special occasions. We do fresh cream, buttercream, eggless and vegan cakes. Check us out on Instagram or Facebook at Sugar Sprinkle Cakery, or just call 07932 665 833. That's 07932 665 833.
Did you know that girls like Noura walk an average of 3 miles every day in search of clean water to support their families? Minhaj Welfare Foundation believes you can end the water crisis by building small and large-scale water projects. Your charity is helping improve the lives of communities living in the poorest regions of the world. However, more needs to be done. Support Water for All. Donate today. Call us now, 0300 30 30 777, or visit us on minhajwelfare.org.
Here at Duncan Lewis Solicitors, we specialize in immigration and family law. We have a proven track record of successful applicants who we've helped secure permanent residency for. From spouse visas to seeking asylum, our expert advisors will assist you throughout the whole application process. We offer a free no obligation consultation, so call us now on 0208 432 3350. That's 0208 432 3350, or visit us at 298 Romford Road, London, E79HD.
Nikah, talaq, counseling on matrimonial disputes, Islamic wills, Islamic law of inheritance, or an Islamic verdict on any other issue. The Muslim Sharia Council is at your service. We provide official certification, and our experienced and highly qualified imams are available to provide you with guidance when needed. MQI London is based at 292 to 296 Romford Road, Forest Gate. We are open from Monday to Friday, 2 to 4 p.m. or alternatively, call us now on 0208 257 1786.
Super Best Meze Grill, the Turkish restaurant where all our food is prepared to perfection. Our mixed grill family platters include lamb shish, Adana kebab, lamb ribs, chicken doner, chicken wings and lamb chops, and all are served with rice, salad, along with a selection of our cold mezes. To see our full menu, go to superbestmezegrill.co.uk. For the perfect dining setting, visit us now at 21 to 23 Broadway, Stratford, E15 4B, or call 0208 555 3335. Super Best Meze Grill.
Need your tyres checked? Have a flat or a nail in your tyre? Don't panic. Visit B1 Tyres. Our professional and friendly team will have you back on the road in no time. We stock over 3,000 tyres and have some of the best prices in town. Wheel alignment, alloy gaiters, and wheel refurbs are just some of the services that we offer. So call us on 0203 875 3525 or visit us at B1 Tyres, Unit B, 43 to 49 Fowler Road in Hainault. B1 Tyres, the garage you can trust.
If you want to advertise your business on Revive FM, then visit www.revivefm.co.uk or contact our sales team now on 07944 565616. That's 07944 565616. Advertise with Revive FM.
Revive FM
94.0. On the radio,
on your mobile,
and online.
Assalamu alaikum viewers, welcome back. Just before we carry on, there has been some comments which we did miss out because we did get a bit carried away.
Yeah, so we've got some lovely viewers. I just wanted to call out Sidra Kadir Naeem. I totally agree. Can you just clarify what it is that you agree with? Sorry. And Henda Kapoor, thank you so much. I missed your comment earlier. Billie Eilish, that is who I was talking about.
So Brother Ali said, great debate. Sharmeen has said, every Muslim is an ambassador for the faith. The more followers you have, the more responsibility you have. I think Sister Sidra was agreeing with Sharmeen's point of having the responsibility because you are an ambassador. And like I was saying, social media influences, they do set the trends. Not even the youth, even older women, they want to go with the trends. They want to go with what's going on.
Yeah, people want to follow the trends, but at what cost? Like, don't you think following the trend compromises on modesty, or would you say that it doesn't? What's your opinion?
I think it does. But I also think nowadays you'll have even relating on to just topics about Islam, you'll see youth, they'll rather listen to social influencers than sit down and listen to a lecture by Islamic scholar. But also I feel like because the social influencers, they set the trend, I feel like that's where we're a bit harsh on them as well. That's where people like to grill them and really, have a dig at them. But then again, they're just doing what they want to do on a social media platform, which is public. But then again, yes, it does come with a responsibility.
Yeah, Taz, do you think following the trend is a cost to our modesty?
It's
hard.
I fully get when people are saying, look, you've got a big platform, people are following you, you do wear hijab, so you do have that responsibility. And this is where I said we have a lot of pressure. But then why are we not saying the same to Muslim girls who are still Muslim, who very publicly still say they're Muslim by name, their names are Muslim. Anyone can identify a Muslim nowadays without them wearing a hijab. And how come they don't get the same hate that hijabis get?
Yeah.
Why are people not telling them to wear hijab? Why are people not telling them to cover up? A lot of them show skin or whatever, and each their own. It doesn't bother me in any way. I would never, ever even look at someone and think, oh my gosh, she's Muslim, she's wearing that. I'm just not that type of person. But I know there are a lot of people out there who will feel slightly triggered by that. But then why is it they don't have that same responsibility? Why is it, in a way, I've gone that one step further and put a hijab on my head, even if I'm not wearing it correctly. But then why do I have all that responsibility?
Okay, girls who wear the hijab, call us on 0333 444 0940 and let us know if you feel the pressure as a hijabi in today's society. And
are we getting a call?
Oh, we're getting a call. Yes. Let's see who's on the line. Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, ladies. Zara. I'm calling from London.
Hello, Zara. Did you want to ask a question, or do you have an opinion to share, maybe?
Yeah, an opinion, really. It's an interesting conversation. I think, like you said, it's quite controversial as well. I'm also an hijabi, and fashion has always been and still is a very big part of my life. And I think if you're on social media, the pressure is definitely a lot higher. And I think I'm not on social media, but that's the reason why I never chose to be, because I knew the responsibility that I would have if I did go on there. So I'm not on there, and I don't think I ever will be, just because of that responsibility. But I know that doesn't mean that I won't influence others, because obviously I'm still going out in public. But I think even with the trends, even with the trends that you guys are talking about, I still try and make that as modest as possible. So, for example, if you're talking about ankle grazers, like mum jeans are a very good way to kind of combat that, and I would wear socks. So I think there's always, and I always wear mine. So there's always a way that you can kind of try and still go on the trend, but still make it modest. And I think doing that will probably help with the hijab journey a bit more if people are struggling with it, because that's how it worked out for me. And, I used to wear skinny jeans before, and slowly it's just kind of, I've, deviated away from that, and slowly it's just getting onto more modest clothing, but still keeping it fashion-wise, trendy. It's still something that a lot of people can do, but obviously, what everyone is saying is that everyone does have their own journey. And I think the community in general online is very, very toxic anyway. Where we should be encouraging our sisters to maybe do better, or even say it privately, I think it's just an attack. I mean, even though you're not perfect yourself, none of us are perfect. So it's not we can even, so we can't really judge when we go online anyway. But I mean, the pressure for being a social media influencer is definitely much higher than
Do you think they should be held? Do you think they should be held accountable to the extent that they are? Just very quickly.
No, I don't think so, because at the end of the day, everyone's a human and everyone has their own journey. So it's not that they have to be accountable, but I think for me, obviously if I've done a good deed, then if anyone else follows that good deed, then you get the good
Yeah,
deed as well.
definitely.
But if you do a bad deed and someone follows it, then you're also getting that bad deed for millions of people who might follow you. And the more you are social media and the more followers you have, obviously you've got a much higher rate of that happening rather than you just being outside. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, just coming away
Thank
from
you for that call. We'll carry on speaking. If anyone else wants to call in also, the number is 0333 444 0940. That's 0333 444 0940. Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, just coming away from social media influencers, I feel like we're picking on them too much. We all, as an individual, have a responsibility as well. So we've talked about, showing our ankles a bit, wearing tight jeans.
I'm going to interrupt you very quickly. We've got some really interesting comments. Sidra Qadir Naeem, thank you for commenting. So you said you agree that if you wear the hijab, then you're automatically showing people that you're a Muslim, and therefore you should be a good role model. Otherwise, non-Muslims paint everyone with that same brush. That's definitely true. And someone commented, what about modesty in terms of young men? Because a lot of the pressure is always on women. Don't you think a lot of the focus is always on women? So they've written young guys flexing their bodies, wearing shorts, acting very provocative. Taz, there's a question for you. Does the guest think there is more pressure on women as opposed to men? I'm guessing
100%. And you know what? Most of the time, it is literally men commenting on my pictures saying you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. Why are you on a female's page? Like, it does not take a genius to know that my page is aimed at women. If you're not learning how to do your eyeliner, you should not be on my page. Why are you on my page? I personally, I just don't get it. I don't get why you're on my page and why you're telling me that I'm dressed in a certain way. And then if I was to click on the profile picture, guaranteed, you know what? Men have hijab to a certain extent as well. They need to.
Yeah, definitely. That is definitely
and
a good
I think that is so overlooked by our parents, by people around us, by society in general. It is so overlooked. No one will ever comment on a man's picture saying, like, bro, your shorts are too short. No one would ever. No one would ever say that. But for a girl, it's like, oh no, modesty is absolutely everything. Modesty over absolutely everything. But when it comes to men, it's completely fine. Like, they can literally do whatever they want and just get away with it. And honestly, like, I see it all the time. And you know what? I'm so glad that comment came up, because I feel like men really forget that there are rules that they need to follow too in Islam. So when you're coming at me, what happened to lowering your gaze? Why are you You've seen me on Explore, fine. It's for example, you see a pretty girl walk past, you can look at her once, look away. You see me on your Explore page, look away.
Look away. You don't need to comment.
Click on my profile, then go through all my pictures and comment. You've been on my picture for too long. Why have you been on my picture for too long? Why do we not hold men responsible for these things? Honestly, I love that comment. I really like that comment.
Do you think it's just the fact that men are really busying themselves commenting on women, or
it's not just the commenting as well? Do you remember, when there was a time where in society there was a really big focus and they were looked down upon for shaping their eyebrows and whatnot? But nowadays, there are men which spend more time in the barbers and have get their eyebrows shaped as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's become a trend in men as well.
Yeah, men get their eyebrows shaped as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, would anyone say anything to them though?
Yeah.
I don't think they would. But when it's a woman, it's just very easy to attack us. But when it's men, it's just so overlooked. And the fact that it's men also commenting these things. Who gave you the right to comment on a woman's dress sense? Who gave you the right to comment on her? Why are you looking at her? Like, you need to observe hijab first. Like, the misogyny is too much. I honestly, like, just
what about
something that we really need to think about?
What about male influencers? So male social media influencers, do you think they're representing immodest fashion for men as well? Because nowadays, if you walk into JD or any, I don't know, like men's stores, even joggers are meant to be something that's loose, and they're tight. You get tight fitted joggers
as well.
So it's not just women. Do you think there needs to be more focus on men? Do you think do you think men are modest enough?
No, they're not. I'm straight to say it. They're not modest enough. And I don't think there are many modest men out there. Honestly, genuinely, I don't think there are that many modest men out there. I don't think they actually know what it means for them to be modest, because I don't think it's something that's taught. I know growing up, there's four of us. I've got three sisters, right? So there's four of us, four sisters and one brother. I know for a fact, and obviously there's no disrespect to my parents, that they raised us amazingly, but I know for a fact my mum never put pressure on modesty when it came to my brother. When it came to the way he was acting. I know for a fact these conversations were never had. It didn't even occur to her. But for us, we had a lot of pressure. Till this day, I do. Like, do you think my mum thinks I wear my hijab right? Obviously, she doesn't. And as a mum, she's going to tell me that I'm not wearing it right. But I don't think there was ever that pressure on my brother. The amount of pressure that we got as girls, I don't think I had that much pressure. And I think it's just something that society just deems acceptable. Like, men are allowed to dress the way they want, and no one really says anything to them about it. Like, even when you see like all these scholars and stuff, when do they actually speak about male modesty? Do they ever?
Yeah, if there are any any male listeners, what do you guys think? Do you think we're attacking you for saying that you're not modest enough, or do you think there are men out there, men are modest? Give us a call, comment on Facebook, comment on YouTube. So the number is 0333 444 0940. That's 0333 444 0940. Give us a call, speak to us. If you want to argue with us and tell us that men are modest, we'd love to hear it. I'm sure a lot of our listeners would love to hear it as well.
I think that's where culture has stepped in. Culture and how the parent brings up the child has sort of intervened there. Rather than teaching them, of course, according to Islamic basis, it's more for culture, what is socially expected sort of thing. And do you not think, okay, I don't know about other cultures, but if you're wearing your own sort of cultural clothing, I mean, in Indian, Bangladeshi, Pakistani sort of clothing, where you've got tight churidar, isn't that similar to wearing tight jeans?
Yeah, there's a lot of
anything though. Suddenly
there is the argument, isn't there, that if you wear South Asian clothing, you've got churidar, you've got net sleeves, where your sleeves, you can see your arms through the sleeves. You've got, chiffon. A lot of the clothing is made out of chiffon, which is see-through.
And then you've got the
waist
crop tops,
and everything. Yeah,
wearing the cropped tops on top of a top is not acceptable. But what about when you've got Asian clothes which are embroidered in that sort of shape as well?
Yeah, what do you think, Taz?
I think that's so true. I think culture always, I don't know, like today I posted this thing about like shirk and bid'ah, and like obviously for me, my thing was that I think there's a lot of things that we do in our culture that's so culturally acceptable that we forget that it's actually wrong. And no one calls it out.
Yeah, this might offend a lot of people. I'm just going to state my personal opinion. If you look at, so I'm Pakistani, and if I look at a lot of Pakistani girls from Pakistan, I feel like they wear a dupatta very loosely. But then I feel like in the UK, which is a Western country, maybe even America or Canada, which is a Western country, girls that wear the hijab and maybe a little bit of their hair is showing get attacked so much. And I just want to quickly say that it's never right to attack anyone, especially a hijabi, because your one tiny little comment might push them away from the deen. And if they take off the hijab, like you mentioned, like all the big bloggers, like you've got Amina, you've got Dina Tokyo, Masuma, there are so many, they've taken off the hijab. That's going to be on you. It's not completely on them, although they do have a responsibility to wear the hijab for themselves. You can't push someone away. Instead, give them a nice comment, or if you can't, don't comment at all, because you don't know in a week's time, a month's time, a year's time, that person might be dressing more modestly than you, and more importantly, you don't know what relationship they have with Allah.
And you could go backwards. Like there's loads of people. Some people will put like niqab on and stuff, and then a couple months later, they don't want to wear it anymore.
Yeah.
To judge somebody, you don't know what journey you're gonna be on in a couple of years' time, because then it's like it just makes you a hypocrite. And even like reverts as well. Like I remember I had a DM from this girl once. She was so on reverting, like she really wanted to revert, but she was like, I'm just worried about the community. I'm just worried that if I don't wear the hijab correct and stuff like that. Some reverts, they revert, they don't wear hijab, and they feel like they can't revert because they're not going to wear hijab. But then you've just stopped somebody from coming into our religion. So like, I think it's very, very important that people kind of think about what they say on social media. For some reason, people think that it's not going to affect people, but really what you're trying to do is you're trying to force something upon them, and instead of doing good, you're making them go backwards. And surely you'll be accountable for something like that too.
Yeah, definitely.
So we were both, obviously both you were saying, and I think our caller agreed as well, that how we find it easier to shop in the casual section rather than shopping for modest clothes on a modest website where they sell abayas. And I think a key thing that even our caller mentioned as well was sometimes they're just too much more expensive. Like, I mean, I've seen abayas for 80 quid, and then you can easily go buy a dress or something from Zara or H&M or anywhere for a much lesser price. And I mean, a lot of people, a lot of girls would opt to that. What do you guys think?
I mean, I just want to say, I feel like there's a lot more focus on the negative. So, I mean, people love gossip and things like that, don't they? So I feel like rather than focusing on maybe social media influencers who have taken off their hijab and bashing everybody and focusing on that side and what people are doing wrong or what people are doing or not doing properly, why don't we focus more on what people are doing correctly? Because that's down on us, that's our perspective. You've got the model Halima Aden. Her career had taken off, you know. She could have easily stayed in that industry, and she chose to stop modeling because it was compromising her deen. Basically, she did it for her deen. So Taz, don't you think the focus should shift slightly?
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. Because like I get DMs without being big-headed. Like I get DMs all the time from like young girls who are like, do you know what? I feel like wearing hijab after following you, and they might wear it like I'm wearing it, show their hair a little bit, but isn't that better than what they started off with?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I like, hand on my heart, so many people have literally reached out to me saying, oh, like you wear it really like modern, and it makes me feel like I can wear it in this society, and it's not going to be that hard for me, and I'm just going to do it, kind of thing. And I feel like obviously that stuff kind of happens behind closed doors, so people don't really see it. But then surely we're doing something right, and it's not all bad. And we're very, very quick to like point out what we're doing wrong, but never like they put us on a pedestal when it comes to have responsibility for everyone else, but no one puts us on a pedestal for the good that we've done.
And no one wants to have responsibility for themselves, I think. Leah K, thank you so much for messaging. Wa alaikum salam. So you said you wear a hijab and get judged sometimes for wearing it properly. Like you've had suggestions on how you would look better if you styled it like a turban, and people will always judge no matter what. And then you've also said that you have people who know you well and call you Taliban because you stopped having your eyebrows done and stop listening to music. So people are calling you Taliban. Wow, that's very quite extreme. I like what you said about turban. Taz, very quickly, do you think the turban is an acceptable form of hijab, and do you think it's modest enough?
I don't. I'll say it straight. I don't. I wear the turban. I wear it now and again. I think you can wear it modestly. Like wear it with a towel on it, don't show your hair, whatever. I think you can wear it modestly.
Nabila B wears it with the scarves that we would wear as little kids.
Yeah.
Like when it covers your neck and shoulders as well.
Ninja cap.
Yeah, she wears it like that, and she wears the turban. But again, some people think that doesn't look.
Yeah, no, I think as long as you cover your neck, it's fine. Obviously, I wouldn't then class that. Like, I wouldn't post a turban picture and say I wouldn't label it as hijab. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I'm still covering my hair with it, and I feel like if that's how you want to wear it, and that's the way that you can to cover your hair, otherwise you wouldn't wear it.
I mean, we've got 5 minutes left before the show ends. So, I mean, you guys, what do you think? Do you think the turban style of wearing hijab is modest enough? Do you think it is modest? Call us on 0333 444 0940. That's 0333 444 0940. Or leave us a Facebook comment. We'll shout you out and state your opinion. Iqra, what do you think? Turban hijab. Me personally, I agree with Taz. I would never wear it. I don't think it's modest enough. But again, some people, I mean, if you wear the turban hijab, do you want to call in and maybe talk to us?
So for me, obviously, I mean, everyone's spiritual journey, as a woman, your hijab journey is also different. You go through a phase. Well, I definitely went through a phase where I wanted to experiment, try different styles. I did try out the hijab style. Personally, for me, no, it was a no for me. But I feel like you're saying, there are certain people that can wear it properly, because what we have to remember, then it comes down to...
But do you think you can call that hijab then? Because then if wearing the turban, like how Nabila B wears it modestly, I still don't think it's an acceptable form of hijab. Do you think it's okay? Because then if you start stating that that's an okay form of hijab, then more and more people are going to start wearing it. And then I feel like we're just going backwards.
I think it is. I think it is, but then again, it comes with responsibility. You need to know you're making sure that you're wearing it properly. For example, if I was to wear a turban and just wear a round neck top, you can see my neck.
Yeah.
So where is that going?
What about ears? When you're
earrings,
wearing Taz, what do you think? So you know how, like as a hijabi myself, when you can't wear jewelry, I feel like you can't wear necklaces unless they're really long, and you can't wear earrings. So when you go to a wedding, I know we all compromise. We'll wear like a tika or something else to get ourselves decked out, you know. But if you want to wear earrings, you can't show them, because then you're laying bare your ears, or part of your neck will be showing. I will say there are hijab styles out there I have seen where they're completely covered and only the bottom part of the ears are showing you, so you can see their jewelry. But again, some people don't think that looks appealing enough. What do you think, Taz, in terms of...
Are men gonna look at her ears? I think, oh, her ears. Like, I just don't.
But then again, don't you think we do it for ourselves? Ultimately, when we wear makeup, me personally, if I'm dressing up or even wearing hijab, I'm wearing it for myself first.
Of course, like even, I said this as well. Like, look, lockdown is a classic example that women do this for themselves. Because how many women watching this can say that they had masks on but still had makeup underneath it? No one's seen my face. We still got makeup. If I'm wearing lip gloss underneath my face mask, no one can see it.
Yeah.
I think lockdown has really, really put things into perspective. That women really do things for themselves, and where men weren't getting their trims and we're just at home, it's because no one's seeing them. So I think men do things for other people, and I think a lot of women realise that they do things for themselves. And little things like showing your ears or wearing earrings, if that makes your hijab more wearable, then so be it.
Like, Sidra Qadir Naeem commented, a turban hijab on its own uncovers your neck and ears. This is not hijab according to the Quran and Hadith. Yeah, definitely. Very quickly, we've got another call. Let's just quickly take that call, I think. Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from London. My question is basically, just wanted to ask you, I guess, what do you think about those female influencers who remove their, their hijab and then starts basically justifying it Islamically? They start saying, well, Islam does not advocate the hijab and stuff like that. What does the caller specifically? I know the caller saying herself, look, she's trying really hard, but what does she think about the people who actually remove it and then start justifying it?
Okay, thank you. We'll get Taz to answer that call. Taz, what do you think? What would you say to those?
Yeah, no, I don't think you can sit there and justify that. You can't sit there and say, well, Islamically, I'm allowed to take it off or whatever. For me personally, I just think there's an ounce of disrespect of the hijab if you're sitting there saying, like, justifying it. That's fine. You can justify it to yourself and say, look, I took it off because, I couldn't live up to it and I couldn't live up to the pressure and, people telling me to take it off, etc. But I think it's wrong to sit there and say, no, you don't need to wear it.
Allow Islam to justify it.
Yeah. Okay, before we end, very quickly, both of you, Iqra and Taz, do you think hijab is fard? Because a lot of people have that question.
Yeah, I think it is. It is.
Yes, definitely. There is Quranic there's Quranic references and hadith, it's just down to us and our struggle of what if we decide to wear it properly, and we should be trying.
Can I just say something before you end the show? I think we need to remember as women what power our hijab holds, and alhamdulillah, like how grateful and how lucky we are to have this deen to guide us and show us the way to be modest and cover ourselves. I think we need to just remember that everyone's on their own modest journey, and we just need to be respectful for that. I think leaving comments on social media, or not even just on social media, just making comments normally, I think this, even if there
your
is
comments
someone,
have an impact.
Yeah, they have an impact. Rather than discouraging someone, why don't you encourage them instead?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So we'll end the show there for tonight. Thank you for everyone. Thank you to everyone who called in. Thank you so much, Taz, for joining us tonight. I love that you were on point and gave us your opinion. And that's all for tonight. Stay tuned in and join us again tomorrow and next week for late night debate night. Thank you and have a very good night, everyone.
ये आयशा है, ये बहुत छोटी सी थी जब इसके वालिद का एक हादसे में इंतकाल हो गया। वो अपनी माँ और छोटे बहन भाइयों के साथ रहती है। आयशा जैसी लाखों बच्चियां जिंदगी की बुनियादी सहूलतों से बिल्कुल महरूम हैं। यही वजह है कि वो स्कूल भी नहीं जा सकती। मिनहाज वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन ने आपकी एहतियात और अपनी खिदमत दुनिया भर के यतीम और बेसहारा बच्चों के लिए वक्फ कर दी है। एक यतीम और बेसहारा बच्चे का सहारा बनिए। आज ही अतिया कीजिए।
अभी कॉल मिलाएं 0300 3030 या हमारी वेबसाइट विजिट करें www.minhajwelfare.org.
This is
Revive FM
94.0 with the latest news from around the world. This is Revive FM 94.0.
Reviving communities.
The views expressed on this program do not necessarily represent those